And we are The Guys Next Door. I'm your host, Ron Arenas, here with you another week, bringing you some great guys from around the community doing great things. And today, we have one of my good friends, and I consider him one of my mentors, Dave Perry. Dave, how you doing?
Doing great, Ron. Thank you so much for having me with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And it was great seeing you this week at one of the Oro Valley Mixers. It's always good to see you, in your retired life, but you're out there shaking hands and mingling with us.
Sure. Try to stay involved as best I can while giving them some space. The chamber was a great gig for me, but it's time for somebody else. And, I'm enjoying retirement a lot, actually.
Yeah. It seems like you're almost busier in retirement than, not that you weren't busy before.
Yeah, that's what my wife says is, what are you doing all this stuff for? But I'm just exploring freelance writing and getting back to my journalism roots a little bit. And it's been a lot of fun. And it keeps you engaged, keeps you involved.
Right. So you came to Oro Valley back in 2007, and you've been working and residing in Oro Valley ever since. You came here to run the Northwest Explorer newspaper. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. The Explorer was sold in December of 2007, and I moved from Scottsdale to Oro Valley to be the publisher and editor for the new ownership. And quite an experience. That was when the recession really hit, 08.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so our business became tough, and we did the best we could for 3 years, and then I lost my job, actually. First time I ever lost a job in my life. So we actually had to make a decision. Do we want to stay in the community or go someplace else? And my wife works remotely for a Bay Area company, and she can work anywhere. But we decided to keep ourselves in Oro Valley because we love the community. We love Greater Tucson and Southern Arizona. It's a wonderful place to live, and I plan to spend the rest of my days here.
Well, good.
I hope there's a lot of them, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. It's always fun seeing you around Oro Valley and having coffee with you every once in a while.
It is great. It's a great community, and I think, it's got a lot of attributes that we love. It's beautiful. We love to hike. You and I both love to ride a bicycle and get to do that all the time. Rode today, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, it's really a terrific place, and so happy and lucky to be here.
Yeah, very good. And then in 2011, you got the opportunity to go and run the Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce.
I did, and quite an experience there. I lived in Wyoming for a long time, and I was a newspaper publisher, and I was on a Chamber of Commerce board in my community. So when the position came open at the Oro Valley Chamber, I said to my wife, I could do that. So I applied, got interviewed, got offered the job, and started at the end of March in 2011.
Okay. And what was your initial response to that first week on the job?
Well, our bookkeeper, Donna McHugh, who still does the books for the chamber, the month ended and she handed me the financials. And I remember going home and saying to my wife, Lisa, I said, I believe I've made a terrible mistake. And, it was just a difficult time financially for the chamber. And, we had limited resources and some bills to pay, but we figured out how to get through it. I had a lot of help, people like yourself and so many other businesses and volunteers that helped move the organization forward to where we got out of debt, and we did a good job, we think, serving the community and serving our business members. And I feel like I left it in a better place 11 and a half years later.
Yeah, definitely you did. And back then, I think you said you were the only employee.
At one point, when I started, there were two of us, and that individual left for about a month, three weeks to a month. I was the only employee there. And now, of course, the chamber has 4 employees and, doing well. They've got a couple part-timers, and they've really established themselves as a strong organization. They bought a building.
They did.
So it's been great to see the progress and know that I played some little part in it.
You definitely played a big part in that. You laid that foundation.
You're very kind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, when I wanted to be established in Oro Valley, I went to the chamber and joined the chamber, and you always brought me around and made sure that I met all the people that you thought were going to be important people for me to meet. And you're a mentor to me.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. And it's a service business. It's relational. You build relationships. You help people, and the chamber has about 580 plus members
Yeah.
right now, and my mantra always was, we got to find out what they each need, and
Right.
every single one of them needs something different, whether it's introductions or publicity or
Yeah.
credibility, and that's what a chamber does. All the chambers, I think, in Tucson do a great job. And
Yeah, they do.
certainly worth affiliating if you're in business.
Yeah, I agree, and I am involved with a couple of the chambers. So
Sure you are.
yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, thank you. So even though you're retired, you're now very active in Oro Valley. Tell us about what's going on in Oro Valley and the 50-year anniversary celebration.
Sure. I helped the chamber. Kristen Sharp, my successor, has 2 young children, and she's a mom first. Good for her. And she can't go to meetings at night, so I go to Oro Valley Town Council and I go to Oro Valley Planning and Zoning Commission meetings, and I report back to her about what's going on. And there's a lot, actually. You mentioned the 50th anniversary. Oro Valley was incorporated 2.5 square miles and about 1,200 people. And
Oh,
that
wow.
was in April of 1974.
Okay.
I was a senior in high school then.
Wow.
And so it's grown 50 years. It's grown to almost 50,000 people with a vibrant business community. And again, as we talk about, a great place. The town put on a parade this year.
Mhm,
They
right.
had a day-long celebration at James D. Cree Park, named for an Oro Valley founder.
Oh.
And we're also doing some writing and some digital stuff, some podcasts about interviewing people with Oro Valley history, talking about various components of the community. We did a timeline about Oro Valley's growth and development, and it's been great and educational, and something that will serve. I think younger people in particular, you should know about your community's history, how this
Right.
happened, where did it come from, why did it happen, and I think it's really
Exactly.
important, really do.
Yeah, it is. It is very good. Yeah. And the Oro Valley Marketplace. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's we definitely want it to be a destination.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And if you think about the marketplace's history, Ron, the voters of Oro Valley, March of 2006, ratified the creation of incentives for Vestar out of the valley
Okay.
to build Oro Valley Marketplace. They got sales tax rebates, so the community said go. And the marketplace started construction in 06, 07, and then 08 hit,
Oh,
and kablooey.
yeah.
I think if you went back to Vestar today and said, would you do it all over again? I'm quite sure the answer would be no.
Right.
But it struggled. I mean, big
Yeah.
box retail has struggled. They never came to the full fruition of what it was intended. And then right here in Tucson, Town West purchased the marketplace several years ago. They've gone through a lot of hoops, but they're finally going to build hotels and apartments. Critical mass is important. If you want
Right.
to support restaurants and small scale retail, you got to have people there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oro Valley has recognized that, and we're gonna start with the hotel this summer. The Hampton Inn
Okay.
is going to build in the marketplace, and then Town West and its partners are going to build apartment communities along Oracle and also along Tangerine across from Oro Valley Hospital. It'll take time, but it'll bring people to the center so that you've got more vibrancy
Right.
and more economic activity. So I think it's a very exciting development.
Yeah, it is. It is. I know they had some struggles with overcoming height issues and density issues and different things like that. But
Yes, and that's the Oro Valley way. And when I ran the chamber, I was always not discouraged, frustrated by it, because Oro Valley prides itself on citizen involvement. It's
Right.
a very involved community, which is a real positive. But that can take time, and it stretches out processes, and sometimes it does reduce heights of buildings
Right.
and density of development. And it's a struggle. There's a balance there. Communities need business in order to be strong,
Right.
and businesses need strong communities, and they go hand in hand. But it's a dance, and
Yeah.
how do you take the right steps, if you will, to protect everybody's interests? It's a challenge,
It is.
and an interest, and it plays out in Oro Valley just about every day.
Well, we're talking with Dave Perry. He was the president and CEO of Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce, and we'd like to thank our sponsors: Tucson Pack and Ship, Crest Insurance, Tucson Tamale, and Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We'll be back with Dave Perry right after this break. And we're back. This is The Guys Next Door. I'm your host, Ron Arenas, and we're talking today with Dave Perry. Dave, how you doing?
Doing great, Ron. Thank you again for having me here.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure. It is. So you are also involved with the Oro Valley Chamber Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about that and tell us the story that you have for us?
Sure. Our chamber formed a foundation 10 years ago now, 2014, and I'd been serving on a board, the Oro Valley Community Foundation, and our board members were getting on in years, and they said, we don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
So we received their funds, about $60,000 at the time, and at our foundation, we did scholarships every year and a little bit of charitable giving, and then a remarkable thing happened,
Right.
and I could tell that story. There were people in Oro Valley, friends of ours, Marilyn and Al Cook, and a lot of Oro Valley people will remember them. They were wonderful people, very community involved, and Al passed a number of years ago, and then Marilyn passed, and Marilyn left part of her estate to our chamber foundation, and
Right.
her attorney approached us and said, you're going to receive 10% of this estate. Here's the paperwork you need to go through, and we did all that, and we had no idea how much money it was going to be.
Right.
Well, on a Friday afternoon, we're in the chamber office, and an envelope shows up, and I realize that inside is another envelope, and it's, oh gosh, this is the check. And
The check.
the check. So Kristen Sharp is our events director at the time. She's now the president and CEO of the chamber. And I went into Kristen's office with the envelope, and I said, now, Kristen, remember, even if this is $100, that's a great thing for the Chamber
Sure.
Foundation. And I opened up the envelope, and the check was a handwritten personal check by Al's son, and the check was in the amount of $864,833.
Wow.
And I fell over. And Kristen came running around her desk, and she says, oh my gosh. She said, they've left us $86,000. And I said, no, you missed a digit there.
Yeah.
It was actually $864,000. And that was 85% of the gift. And the final number was $1.007 million
Wow.
handed by these great people. And the intent of it is charitable contribution within the Oro Valley community.
Sure.
So we have had to get our act together, first of all, and we've done a better job organizing ourselves. We've hired an investment advisor, and much
Okay.
of that money is invested trying to grow it into something more of an endowment, something where we could really do some significant good stuff, good
Yeah.
giving in our community. And one of the amazing experiences of my recent life, I won't deny it.
Yeah, that is awesome. and I was on the board during that time, so I remember us receiving that, and it's a great thing.
It truly is, but then you it's a responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, I retired from the chamber, and I left the chamber board, and I left a couple other boards I was on, but I said to my wife, I need to stay with this because Marilyn trusted us to make sure that this was done the right way, and I'm trying to do what I can to best use those resources. You know, one of the things that we did, we learned that Al's sons, Glenn and Alan Cook, both went to Pima Community College.
Okay. Yeah.
And I said, I know those people at Pima. So we approached the Pima Foundation, Marcy Euler, and we learned that the Pima Foundation had a 50% match from the Hillman Foundation.
Oh,
so
wow.
if we put up $10, we'd get $5 right away matching.
Okay.
So we did a lot of figuring on our board, our foundation board, and we provided $110,000 from Marilyn's gift to the Pima Foundation. They matched with $55,000, so we
Right.
had $165,000 that we've invested, and the interest is yielding 5 scholarships a year
Very
at
nice.
$1,500 apiece. And our preference is students on the Northwest side as well as single parents. You know, we feel like if we assist a single mom or dad, we're not just changing one life, we're changing 2 or 3 or however
That's
many
right.
children they may have. And this is the first year now that money is going out, and we're just so thrilled and fortunate and grateful to the Pima Foundation for its assistance. And the scholarship is in memory, in honor of Marilyn and Al Cook. And what's great for me is it's going to happen forever. It's always
Yeah.
going to be there. And I just think that's so cool. I just love it.
That is setting the foundation again.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's setting the foundation. Yes. Well said there, Ron. I appreciate
Well, thank you.
that. Sure.
And so you have an event coming up. You have the scholarship breakfast coming up.
We do. And for some historical perspective, one of Oro Valley's founders was a gentleman named Steve Engel. And Steve was, I think, the second or third mayor of Oro Valley. And when Steve was in office, he gave scholarships from his own pocket
Oh, wow.
to CDO graduates primarily, back
Okay.
in the days when CDO was the high school there.
Yeah.
And after Steve passed, the chamber proper took it on and did 4 or 5 scholarships a year. Several years ago, Kristen and then Sherry Colson was on our chamber staff. We said, if we go ask people for some help, we could get some corporate help. And that has been very successful. And this year, we're going to do $30,000 in Steve Engel scholarships.
Wow.
And it's $1,500 a piece to 20 deserving students from really across Tucson, primarily in Oro Valley and the Northwest side. And that's the most we've ever done. And Marilyn's gift is helping us to fill in some of that, if you will.
Right.
So our breakfast, we do the awards on Thursday, June the 20th.
Yep.
A breakfast at the Westward Look Wyndham Grand Resort and Spa. And it's
we'll
really
both be there.
Yes, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you. And it's really one of the coolest things when you have young people who are embarking on their journeys and their parents are there. There'll be tears. It's one of the most heartwarming things that the chamber and the foundation do every year.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice.
We'd love to have people come.
Yes. And how do they purchase tickets for that?
The way to do that, you can go online to orovalleychamber.com. You can call the chamber office 520-297-2191 or email Dave at Kristen at orovalleychamber.com. And the chamber still provides services to the foundation,
Right.
even though we're separate corporate organizations, and they do a wonderful job helping us to process scholarships and judging the applicants, and really couldn't do it without their help. So think about that date, June the 20th. It's a Thursday at the Westward Look.
Very nice. Yeah. And it's from 8 to 10, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's 8 to 10. We do a little networking and we shoot photographs. We'll have our sponsors there as well as students and parents, and then our PIMA recipients, the separate fund, are also going to be there and be recognized as
okay.
well. So really, we'll have hopefully 25 scholarship recipients in the room, and I tell you what, it's so much fun. I always leave there feeling like we've done something, that we've helped some people, which is what it's all about.
Yeah, Westward always does a really nice job. It'll be a nice breakfast, and all the money goes toward a scholarship.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've got great sponsors paying for the breakfast proper. The foundation kicks in some breakfast money as well. So all the proceeds from ticket sales will go towards scholarships, that's what we intend. That's what we want to have happen.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of that breakfast.
Sure is.
So do you have any success stories from prior recipients?
I know a few of them from years past, and they've gone on. I know somebody's a physical therapist. I know somebody else who's an accountant. And I do know that we've helped some single parents, single moms primarily, and they've been so grateful. And one of the things we figured out is, we could do 4 or 5 scholarships at $4,000 or $5,000 a piece.
Right.
But when I talked to guidance counselors and others, they said spread the money out.
Okay.
Because it might even just be symbolic. $1,500 in the modern era doesn't pay for a lot of college anymore, but it tells a young person that, hey, you've been recognized. We believe in you. We believe in your future. And it gives them that boost, psychologically, and maybe buy some books or whatever it might be.
Sure.
So the success stories are ongoing, I think. We need to do a better job collecting those, because what I say every year to the students is, when you're successful in your career, you remember that somebody helped you out and that you can pay it forward as well. And
always,
always. And that's a motivation for our donors. Somebody like Mary Schultz from Schultz Financial Group, she's a donor. and somebody gave her a scholarship when she was a young woman on her way.
Okay.
And now she's successful, and she says, I got to pay this forward. I got to make sure that I give just as I receive.
Yeah, and she does also serve on the Oro Valley Chamber
On
Board.
the Chamber Board,
Yeah.
that's right. And she's a wonderful lady, and she's a believer. She
Yeah.
knows that we can make a difference in people's lives, and that's why we're here. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's part of the Oro Valley Chamber and the Oro Valley Chamber Foundation is just raising the community up and trying to make it a better place to live.
Absolutely. In fact, that we've just adopted a new mission, and I think it's lifting the people of Oro Valley. And we do some charitable giving as well. We just opened a community grants process, and down the road we want to do some business assistance, maybe help the chamber and its members with internships or something that helps them solve employment issues as well as gives a young person some real life business experience. So the opportunities they're great.
Are almost endless, yeah.
Right, and we're trying to grow the principal as well. So anyone who wants to leave a part of their estate, we'd love for that to happen, and I promise you it'll go toward good use.
All right, very good. Well, one more time, can you give us how you would purchase a ticket? Or
Sure. It's go to orovalleychamber.com. Call the chamber office at 520-297-2191, or send Kristen an email. It's KRISTEN at orovalleychamber.com.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, Dave.
Ron, thank you. It's a pleasure, and hope to do it again sometime.
Yeah, thank you. Join us every Sunday at 4 o'clock for The Guys Next Door. We'll see you next week.